Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Tuesday, February 24th. We're going to take a look at the market the way we usually do in our update here on Tuesday. And the four stocks we're going to look at tonight are US Silica, Silver Wheaton, Sandisk, First Solar, and then I'm going to check in on YHOO also, which I issued a new trade idea on it this morning. All right, the Dow Industrials are up 92 points today. So it continues the rally. Had a little pause yesterday. Continued the rally here that kind of broke out a little bit on Friday. S&P 500, same type thing. Had the pause yesterday. And, and again, this move, I think we're in here's a fourth minor move. I think we're in a fifth wave up here. And, so that's what I think we're in here, a fifth minor wave. And I'm counting this as one here and two, and therefore we're working a third one, okay? And this has been awful choppy, actually. And now I'm looking to see that if this is one and two of the third, that this should accelerate a little bit. And it's starting to do that, starting to break out a little bit here. We'll see if it continues to play out like that. Okay, the next one is the NASDAQ, and the same thing, although the NASDAQ is up here along the Keltner channels. And again, these dotted lines I talked about before, the all-time highs, all-time weekly close, and all-time high, intra-week high up here. And so it continues to push towards that. The New York Composite, same type thing. The big move on Friday. Pause yesterday, continuation today. And the Russell 2000, not as dynamic today as the other ones, but, it also is continuing to push higher. It's not up at the Keltner channel yet to the outside. Short-term trading index, the 10-day moving average is at about 1.12, right here in the middle. So, again, no extreme reading. The VIX continues to sell off. I'm not getting any divergence on the VIX, so I'm not getting any particular type of setup or signal or anything else other than it's confirming the move of the market's going up, the VIX is going down. High-low, now this is not confirming the move here. This is kind of stalling out here in the middle, and, the market's up here like this, trending higher, and the new highs, new lows is not confirming or expanding as I would expect it to do. The next thing I wanted to take a look at is, let's take a look at the 20-year bonds, the long-term bonds anyway. So they've rallied the last couple of days, and so that means interest rates on the long term have dropped back down. So it'll be interesting to see, are we getting support in here now and we're going to resume the rally and go to new highs, or is this just a short-term pullback of a move down? That's going to be the question. And next one is the dollar index. It's continuing its consolidation, although I thought it might be breaking out here today. It looks like it came back down, but it's still in this sideways consolidation, which again is in sync with what's going on with oil, with crude oil. So this is near the lower end of its trading range in here, this consolidation. And actually, let's see, it was down slightly today. It's right here at the bottom. And I'm actually, the way this looks and the way that, that US dollar looks, when I look at that, and I talked about this looks like a continuation pattern to me, which would mean that we're going to continue to move on up out of this. And if that's the case, that's why I'm expecting to see the crude oil to continue to drop. And then the last one I wanted to look at in terms of kind of the key markets is gold. Gold is continuing to push to the downside. We've got a little trend line here. We may be getting some support in here. And of course, there was a lot of, congestion in here, previous low, and then we just kind of traded back and forth back in here. So we could be getting support in here now. So we'll be watching that to see if we get a turn to the high side to rally off of it. All right, that's it for the markets. Let's move into US Silica. If I can find it. There we go. Okay, US Silica was down 38 cents today, but that was before the earnings came out after the market closed. And the reading I saw after the market, at one point it was down about 13%. So that, 10% is $3. And that would put it down here, let's say down around 26 to 27, down in this range. So we'll see. It looks like it's been trying to turn, although this may be nothing more than a counter trend corrective action. Long-term trend is down. The intermediate trend has started to turn up. The short-term trend was up. It was trying to turn. And so we'll see whether or not it gets support down in here at 26, 27 and then resumes this effort, or whether the whole thing just breaks down. Let's see, the next one I want to take a look at is silver Wheaton. And, silver Wheaton, this has been fluctuating pretty wildly over the last year or two. And right now, this looks like it's rolling over. The short term looks like it's rolling over. It's broken this trend line here. It was kind of in sync with gold to a certain degree, although this pattern is not the same as GLD. So we'll see whether or not, again, does it get support in here, like I just talked about on GLD, or whether this is doing something different. And you could see there's a lot of overlapping waves, which again, when you have overlapping waves like this is corrective action. I mean, it's not in some strong impulsive move to the upside or downside, although it had a big kind of impulse move here. So you get this corrective action that's broken by, an impulse move. And here was another one, a little shorter, weaker. And so now the fact that we've come back down, this is overlapping. This has come back down into this wave here. So again, it's kind of overlapping. Now, if it would have stayed above that wave, then you would have started to think, well, maybe we have something impulsive getting ready to go to the upside, but that's not what's happening here. So that's my best assessment on silver Wheaton. And Sandisk. Sandisk looked like, to me, like this was a fifth wave that was kind of truncated. It looked like 5 waves in here, and in that it kind of truncated, and sometimes the fifth wave will do that, near the high of the third wave. And then it looks like we've, broke this trend line, rolled over, pretty strong move right here, which is typically like a third wave. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, kind of a counter trend, zigzag fourth wave here. And now looks like it's trying to roll back over to the downside. And we'll see if it breaks this trend line or not. Let's look back here a little bit more. Now, it'll probably, if it does that, it'll retest this low. And if that doesn't hold, then I think you're down into at least another 5 points, down into around 70 or so. So we'll see whether that is what continues to happen in here or whether it gets support. But right now, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that it looks like it's rolling over. And it's continuing the trend. And let's see, the next one is First Solar. And First Solar had a big move today. I can't remember the percentage move. I think it was 15% at one point. Although, look, you could see it on the bar. So it opened right up here, went a little bit higher, and then sold off all the rest of the day and closed down near the low for the day. Now, why did it kind of sell off up in here? Well, here's where you had some previous high back up in here. Didn't quite get as high as that, but it, clearly some selling started to come in here. Now, it filled this gap, okay, with this move. It filled this gap and then created another one. Now, this gap was created on a huge volume day, so it's going to be very critical to see, does this gap stay open over the next 2 or 3 days? And if it does, then there's a good chance that we're going to get a continuation off of it and it doesn't fill for a while. So I'm thinking, 3 to 5 days. Now, I've got this dotted line near the top of this right up here. That's where I think resistance is going to come in. And it's close to the 233-day moving average. And, we've got resistance because we had support in this area before, okay? And then that support became a ceiling when this broke down through this. So now it pulled back up to it, selling came down through. Now we come back up into that zone, and now we're running into some selling again. So we'll see how much power this has got as a part of this move. I mean, it had a nice little short-term trend going, but we'll have to see what kind of power we've got behind the move. All right, that's it. And then Yahoo's one I want to take a look at, because I put out a trade idea on this because, again, I talked about this on Sunday as a possibility. And then, we got these 2 days trading down below the 10. And so I had an entry right down here. And, of course, it hit it early in the morning. And then it pulled back for the rest of the day. Now, we'll see whether it continues. It's really hard to judge what on any given day the actual price action is how it's going to play out. So you just got to kind of roll with the flow. I mean, right now I thought I got a signal and I'm going with it, and we'll see whether this continues. What I'm expecting is when you see this move like this, okay, this is like a flag, and here's a pennant upside down, and so I'm expecting, another move similar to that out of that. And so we'll see what, you just play out and say, okay, that's what I'm expecting. We'll see if we get it, and then how strong. All right, so that's it on Yahoo. And of course, here's the gap that is begging to be filled. And where is the high? The high is at 40.48. Okay, so right down in here, right close to the 233-day moving average. So maybe that's where this ends up going if it continues to move to the downside. All right, that's it for tonight, and we'll be back on Thursday with another market update. Everyone have a great Thursday, and we'll talk to you then.